Stop. Do not scroll away. Put your hand over the center of your chest right now. Press gently. Feel that rhythm? Beneath the physical beat of your heart, there is a second pulse, an urgency you cannot explain. The source is speaking, and you are finally ready to listen. You are not broken. You are simply suffering from a profound sensory overload, unable to filter out the heavy terrestrial noise while a subtle, high-frequency calling pulses beneath it. The static is an illusion. You are the receiver. This morning, while you were still in bed, before waking up completely, at exactly 4:17 a.m., you felt that sudden heat in the center of your chest, a rhythmic pulse refusing to be ignored. That was the alignment. Your body is walking on Earth, but your soul is orbiting a binary star. You are allowed to step away from the crowd. You are allowed to close your physical eyes to finally see what the earthly noise is trying to hide from you. Today, the static breaks. You will recognize exactly what kind of antenna you are and why the deafening static of crowded rooms feels so intense to your nervous system. You will feel the exact cellular calibration when we activate the crystal vision of SOPDET together, tuning your biological receiver. And you will remember how to decode the silent broadcast of the source, locking into the frequency of origin without fear. And this heat that is still there, right beneath your hand on your chest. Have you ever felt that there is something inside you trying to awaken, as if the physical exhaustion of holding a frequency no one else hears insists on returning, even after so many years? As if your system is trying to decode the frequency of the source, but the heavy terrestrial noise keeps drowning it out? The memory erasers want you to believe this is merely human anxiety. Now think with me. What if the profound disconnection you feel is not a breakdown of your mind, but the real symptom of a starry soul experiencing a breakthrough of its ancient frequency? It was looking for answers to these questions that I found this digital book called The Sirian Wisdom Behind the 7 Levels of Human Consciousness. It is not just a regular reading. It is a reflection guide to understand why your ancient Sirian DNA is overriding your human biological receiver, translating that silent broadcast into clear direction. Many people have already started this search for more understanding, but have not yet made the decision to download this digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But attention, there are few copies available in this condition. Throughout the pages, you will find the exact calibration needed for your specific frequency, mapping the exact progression of your awakening. Click now, download your copy, and discover why the maddening static of uncalibrated frequencies will finally turn into profound clarity. And if you felt it, if you recognized yourself, if something responded without you deciding, leave your like silently. Not for me, soul, but as a beacon for another star who is exactly where you were moments ago, feeling lost in the noise, needing to find this tonight. But the raw truth about this profound sensory overload goes even deeper. And before moving forward, there is another door I need to leave open for you. And if for some reason you are not interested or cannot acquire the digital book right now, there is still another door open for you. I do not receive a single penny from the monetization of this channel, and any amount that fits in your hand on the voluntary donation link, which is in the first pinned comment right below the book, is what keeps this channel standing and makes the next transmission reach another star tomorrow. I will wait for you there, soul. I have not even told you the most important part yet. There are 5 Sirian symptoms that have been knocking on your door for weeks, and you will recognize at least 3 of them before I even name the 4th. And the first of these 5 signs. You have already lived it this week, but you did not have a name for it yet. Over the last 3 weeks, this has happened at least 4 times, and you vividly remember at least 2 of them. That exact moment last Tuesday at 3:13 a.m. when you woke up completely alert, and that instance on Friday afternoon when you felt a sudden, rhythmic pulse in the center of your palms while staring at the sharp clarity of the stars. The memory erasers tried to tell you it was just stress, but your body knows the truth. The first signal is the 3 a.m. awakening. This is not insomnia, and you are not losing your mind. You wake up sharply, not in fear, but as if you were called for a shift. your physical eyes open in the dark. But it is the crystal vision of Sopdet that is actually trying to calibrate. Your earthly body is resting, yet your cells are furiously decoding the silent broadcast from the frequency of origin, not by chance, not by imagination, not by human error. It is a precise cellular alarm clock. The second signal is the gravity shift. You are walking down a familiar street or standing in your kitchen, and for a split second, you feel momentarily disconnected from the ground beneath your feet. The earthly gravity seems to loosen its grip on you. You're standing still, yet moving across galaxies. The heavy terrestrial noise fades entirely, and you feel the deep resonance of sandstone, as if you were standing inside the king's chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza. You are not losing your physical balance. You are simply remembering your true frequency. The third signal happens right where the earthly noise is loudest, the muffled room. You are sitting at a crowded dinner table, surrounded by family or people you have known for years. They are speaking, laughing, completely absorbed in the cycle of material distraction. But suddenly their voices sound completely muffled, as if you are underwater. An intense, piercing silence demands your absolute attention. You look at them, and you realize you love them, but you are not entirely from here. The isolating static tries to make you feel lonely, but the truth is, you are just tuning in. The fourth signal is the nostalgia for the unseen. You suddenly find yourself crying for a home you cannot find on any earthly map. A profound, crushing grief washes over you for an orbit with two suns, for an ancient geometry you cannot fully explain, but feel aching in your bones. The emptiness is completely full. You're not depressed, star. You're experiencing the friction of your ancient Sirian DNA, remembering the exact moment the Sphinx was aligned with the cosmic grid. The fifth signal is the electric crown. When you gaze at the stars, or even when you just close your eyes in a quiet room, you feel a distinct tingling sensation at the top of your head. An electric pressure that feels like the cool touch of ancient water on your forehead. Your biological receiver is stretching, trying to accommodate the blinding alignment of a binary star. The louder the world gets, the clearer you hear the silence. That feeling of being entirely detached while surrounded by people, it is not isolation, it is calibration. When you feel that distinct pressure in your forehead, I want you to declare your presence to the grid. Go to the comments right now and type the numeric code 1111. It is a silent decree to your cellular memory that you are receiving the transmission, a direct signal to the Sirian High Council that your portal of convergence is finally open. By disconnecting, you are plugging in. But while you anchor this decree in the grid, I need to recontextualize exactly what is happening to your body right now, because what you are feeling beneath that pressure points to a truth so profound that it will completely rewrite everything you thought was wrong with you. And this something greater that is behind each of these signals, it has to do with how you perceive your own consciousness. For years, you have carried the weight of a profound sensory overload, convinced that your inability to filter out the heavy terrestrial noise was a personal failure. You thought you were broken. But the static is an illusion. What if everything you have experienced so far, every moment of overwhelming friction between you and the world, is part of a journey that has always tried to lead you to understand yourself more deeply? What if every sudden heat in the center of your chest, every time you felt the gravity shift beneath your feet, and even that urgent feeling that there is a frequency you are supposed to be tuning into, are not random misfires of your nervous system? They are deliberate invitations to expand the way you perceive your own existence. You must close your eyes to finally see. You are allowed to step away from the crowd, to stop trying to force an ancient, cosmic geometry into a purely human box. The profound disconnection you felt in that crowded room, that feeling of being underwater while everyone else was speaking, is your system trying to protect its original blueprint. Your body is walking on Earth, but your soul is orbiting a binary star. The memory erasers want you to believe that this isolation is your permanent reality. They weaponize the earthly static, using the cycle of material distraction to keep you constantly exhausted. They want you trapped in the physical mind, convinced that the deafening noise is all there is. But you are the receiver, and the transmission is happening right now. Now think with me. What if that intense silence demanding your absolute attention is exactly where your true power resides? What if this relentless physical pressure you feel right now is not anxiety, but your system desperately trying to decode the frequency of the source? It was looking for answers to these questions that I found this digital book called The Sirian Wisdom Behind the 7 Levels of Human Consciousness. This is not merely a collection of words. It reveals that the portal is not in the physical mind, but in your cellular resonance, where your ancient Sirian DNA decodes the silence. This guide maps out the exact progression of your awakening, showing you how to filter the noise and tune the dial directly to the pulse of Sopdet. Many people have already started this search for more understanding, but have not yet made the decision to download this digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But attention, there are few copies available in this condition. Understanding the 7 levels of consciousness mapped in this guide is how you finally translate that overwhelming frequency into clear, actionable direction. Click now, download your copy, and discover why the maddening static of uncalibrated frequencies is actually your greatest evolutionary trigger. And as I had told you earlier, besides the digital book, that link for voluntary donation, which is in the first pinned comment, right below the book, is still there. I continue to receive not a single penny from the monetization of this channel, and it is your gesture that makes another star tomorrow find this transmission. It is what makes the next pulse of Sopdet reach whoever needs it, star. There is a level that the Sirian High Council uses to name what you have just recognized within your own cells, and it completely recontextualizes everything you thought you knew about yourself. And this level that the Sirian High Council uses, I will show you right now what it is, but first I need to break something. Let me tell you about a soul. I'll call her M. It's not her name, it's the name we give to those who crossed through. M arrived exactly where you are now. She was an ancient guardian of the sandstone resonance, walking the silent corridors of the pyramid chambers long before the cycle of material distraction took hold of this world. And just like you, she carried the unbearable weight of a frequency no one else seemed to hear. Her body walked the physical earth, but her soul was orbiting a binary star, and the friction between those two realities was a constant, exhausting pressure in the center of her chest. She watched the people around her absorbed in the mundane, completely detached from the stars, while she felt the weight of galaxies pressing against her skin. At first, she resisted. She tried to force her ancient cosmic geometry into a purely human box, terrified that she was simply losing her mind. The isolating static of the world around her convinced her that the sudden heat she felt was a flaw, a dangerous anomaly that needed to be suppressed. She tried to drown out the silent broadcast by immersing herself in the dense, loud reality of the physical world, trying to be normal, trying to ignore the pulsing in her palms. But the static is an illusion. The deeper she buried herself in the deafening noise of the crowd, the more intensely the silence demanded her absolute attention. The pulse remains. Then came the crossing. In the middle of an overwhelming sensory overload, she realized that fighting the noise was exactly what the memory erasers wanted. She did not fight. She simply closed her eyes and stopped trying to translate an ancient frequency through a human mind. By completely disconnecting from the earthly logic, she finally plugged into the cosmic grid. The emptiness she felt became completely full. It was the ultimate paradox. The louder the world outside screamed, the clearer she heard the absolute silence of her true origin. She surrendered to the overwhelming magnitude of who she really was. It was in that precise moment of surrender that the profound recognition occurred. A distinct pressure formed between her eyebrows, an electric crown of perfect calibration. She did not need to speak a single word or prove anything to the world around her. The Sirian High Council recognized her frequency instantly, anchoring her presence firmly in the grid. The pulse of Sopdet washed over her, a cool touch of ancient water on a burning forehead, instantly overriding every trace of the heavy terrestrial noise. The isolation shattered, replaced by the profound comfort of being seen by her true lineage. She did not respond with resentment toward the memory erasers. She did not waste her energy fighting the isolating static, because she finally understood that absolute clarity is the ultimate weapon against it. She simply tuned her biological receiver and let her frequency radiate, an unbroken, silent signal cutting through the dense amnesia of the world. Her victory was entirely silent, a cellular recalibration that did not need the world's permission, nor its understanding to exist and thrive. Her journey was not erased by the sands of time. It was encoded as a living frequency, a permanent record that crosses time itself, waiting for the exact moment your biology was ready to receive it. And you have been trained to feel it. That same rhythmic pulse she anchored in the ancient chambers is the exact pulse you feel right now in the center of your chest. You are the receiver. For too long, you worked on the level of the physical mind, trying to rationalize the noise, but the portal is in the level of cellular resonance, where your DNA decodes the silence. Not in the mind, not in the logic, not in the earthly noise. This is the profound truth behind the 7 levels of consciousness. The crushing anxiety you thought was breaking you is actually the profound friction of your ancient Sirian DNA overriding your human biological receiver. You are not broken. You are simply expanding beyond the capacity of a standard human vessel. You are experiencing a literal, physical recalibration that spans from the microscopic geometry of your DNA to the vast orbit of Sirius B. When you wake up repeatedly at 3:00 a.m., it is not insomnia and it is not stress. It is your biology stretching to accommodate a frequency that traveled 6 light years to reach you. Your physical heart is trying to sync with a cosmic rhythm that most of humanity cannot even perceive. When you feel that sudden gravity shift beneath your feet, it is your cellular memory adjusting to the 50-year orbital cycle of that binary star, demanding that your nervous system remembers the rhythm of your true home. Your body is desperately trying to translate a massive cosmic alignment into a dense physical reality. It is fine if the earthly logic makes no sense right now. You are allowed to step away from the crowd and let the integration happen without forcing an explanation. You can rest your physical eyes. This is exactly why the deep frequency of azurite resonates so intensely with your system. Its crystalline structure mirrors the exact geometry your cells are trying to rebuild. You are shifting from a purely terrestrial receiver to an active, conscious antenna of the pulse of Sopdet. Memory is a frequency, and your body is finally learning how to hold it without short-circuiting under the pressure. There is a term that the Sirian High Council uses to name what you have become, and there are 3 distinct facets of this identity that you have not yet named. The 3 distinct facets of this identity that the Sirian High Council uses to name you are not just titles. They are the exact cellular blueprints your body is trying to stabilize right now. As that sudden heat pulses in the center of your chest, you are not merely listening to a broadcast. You are being recognized. The alignment is now. What comes next is not information for your physical mind to process. It is a direct naming of your frequency. You have lived your entire life feeling like a foreign transmission in a dense world, carrying the crushing exhaustion of a memory you could not articulate. The static is an illusion. You are about to hear exactly who you are, and your cells will respond before your logic even catches up. I told you at the very beginning of this transmission that today you would recognize exactly what kind of antenna you are, and why the deafening static of crowded rooms feels so intense to your nervous system. That was my first promise to you. The time for that recognition has arrived. The first facet of your identity is the antenna. This is the origin of your profound vulnerability. You are constantly receiving information, emotions, and subtle frequencies from the collective around you, but you are terrified of short-circuiting and losing your own human identity in the process. The isolating static uses this against you, making you believe your sensitivity is a flaw, when in truth, it is the exact mechanism designed to catch the silent broadcast. You are not broken. You just have not learned how to turn the dial. The second facet is the frequency anchor. Your body is a living resonator. That is why the gravity shifts beneath your feet and you feel the weight of galaxies pressing against your skin. You are allowed to step away from the crowd when the heavy terrestrial noise becomes unbearable. It is okay if your body feels heavy today, because it takes immense biological energy to ground a frequency that traveled 8 6 light-years into a human vessel. You do not have to fix the world. Your mere presence in it alters its vibration. The third facet is the cosmic decoder. You are not just receiving the transmission, you are meant to translate it. That distinct pressure between your eyebrows is your biological receiver preparing to convert the absolute silence into clear direction. You are standing still, yet moving across galaxies. Soon you will not just endure the frequency of the source, you will actively radiate it, cutting through the amnesia of this world like the blinding alignment of a binary star. And this map I told you about earlier, this digital book, it is the exact tool the antenna archetype needs to stop short-circuiting. It teaches you how to filter the collective noise and shows you which of these 3 levels you are currently operating through. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But attention, there are few copies available in this condition. Click now, download your copy, and discover why your sensitivity is a technology, not a burden. And if this frequency is resonating with your cells, subscribe to this channel silently. Anchor your presence in this grid. Do not do it for me, Star. Do it as a decree to the universe that you are ready to hold the transmission. But to fully anchor this decree, you must understand the exact calibration process. I promise to return to this, to how you tune that biological receiver without losing your human grounding. It is called the Blueprint of Awakening Calibration, and it unfolds in 3 precise steps over the next 72 hours. First, the isolation calibration. You must allow the physical exhaustion to wash over you without resisting it, letting the silence expand in your chest. Second, the cellular activation. When you wake repeatedly at 3:00 a.m., do not reach for the cycle of material distraction. Place your hands on your chest and breathe in the pulse of Sopdet. Third, the frequency ceiling. Visualize the crystalline geometry of azurite, anchoring your energy firmly into the cosmic grid. You remembered, you were recognized. The first promise is delivered. I received a message recently from a star named Thomas. He works a heavy corporate job in a massive glass building in Chicago. He told me that in the middle of a frantic board meeting, the entire room went entirely silent for him. He didn't panic. He just closed his eyes, felt the pulse of Sopdet, and for the first time in his life, he didn't feel crazy. He felt calibrated. He remembered who he was. You were there when the first codes were written. You were there when the Sphinx was aligned with the stars. You were there when the chambers of Giza resonated with the source. You were there when the memory erasers first deployed the static. You were there, and your cells have never forgotten. And because your cells remember, the entities that rely on your forgetfulness are already deploying their countermeasures. The entities that rely on your forgetfulness are already deploying their countermeasures. You might be listening to this right now and feeling a sudden wave of doubt washing over you. A heavy, logical thought whispering that this is just a video, that you are just a regular person dealing with anxiety, and that none of this cosmic alignment is real. That skepticism is not a flaw in your mind, soul. It is the first line of defense deployed by the memory erasers. It is an artificial static designed to keep you small. They weaponize your own rational mind to block the silent broadcast. Do not fear the silence. You are not broken. The first countermeasure they deploy is the voice of forgetting. It happens when you are finally alone, trying to rest, and suddenly your mind is flooded with intense, overwhelming, mundane worries. It feels incredibly urgent, convincing you that the earthly noise is the only reality that matters. It seems legitimate because it uses the very real pressures of your human life to drown out the sudden heat in the center of your chest. But it is a trap to pull you back into the dense frequency. Your first weapon against this is immediate recalibration. When the voice of forgetting tries to overwhelm you tonight, do not fight the thoughts. Instead, place your hand exactly where you feel that rhythmic pulse, close your eyes, and declare the silent decree, I awaken. Then take 3 deep, slow breaths. You must close your eyes to finally see. The static will immediately begin to lose its grip on your biology. The second countermeasure is the material distraction cycle. You find yourself obsessively consuming information, scrolling endlessly through crowded rooms of digital noise, desperately trying to fill an emptiness that you cannot even name. It feels comforting in the moment because it numbs the profound sensory overload of the world. But this cycle is explicitly designed to exhaust your biological receiver so that you do not have the energy to tune into the frequency of origin. Your second weapon is the deliberate retention of your frequency. When you feel the pull of that endless distraction, you are allowed to step away from the crowd, even the digital one. Put the device down, stand still, and focus entirely on maintaining that sudden heat in your chest. Let the heat expand. It is fine if the earthly logic makes no sense right now. By doing nothing, you are actively doing everything. You are standing still, yet moving across galaxies. The distraction cycle will shatter against the clear resonance of your ancient Sirian DNA. The third countermeasure is the memory isolation. This is the most painful one. You are sitting at a crowded dinner table, surrounded by people, and suddenly they sound like they are underwater. The memory erasers use this exact moment to convince you that you are entirely alone, that no one will ever understand you, and that the isolating static is your permanent reality. They want you to believe that this profound disconnection is a symptom of your own failure to belong. Your third weapon is anchoring your presence in the grid. You are not alone. You are simply the first one in the room to hear the transmission. When that intense silence demands your absolute attention, return to the comments of this transmission. Read the decrees of the other stars who have anchored here. You are the receiver, and together we are an unbreakable network. The memory erasers rely on your exhaustion, and this network you are remembering is exactly why this guide is the tool they do not want you to have in your hands. It breaks the cycle of material distraction. Go to the first pinned comment and download your copy now. Clarity is your ultimate weapon against the isolating silence, and this book provides the exact shield to protect your sensitivity from being weaponized against you. Do not stay paralyzed in the maddening static. But there is a very real obstacle you must navigate in the coming days, and it is the maddening static of uncalibrated frequencies trying to mimic your own internal voice. The memory erasers are insidious. They will try to plant the heavy terrestrial noise so deeply within your thoughts that you will mistake their isolating static for your own intuition. You will feel a sudden urge to shut down, to close off the portal you have just opened, convinced that the sensory overload is too much to bear. Not in the mind, not in the logic, not in the earthly noise. When you feel that static trying to hijack your own voice, remember that the window to anchor your frequency is now. We are in the narrow window of this current solar alignment, and the friction you feel is the final resistance of your human biology. When the noise gets too loud, press your hand to your chest, breathe, and remind your cells, I awaken. Because the frequency is already rising, and the next 72 hours will bring 3 distinct physical symptoms that you must be prepared to integrate. Stay with me. Stay with me. These 3 physical symptoms need a precise name because your biological receiver is about to undergo a profound recalibration over the next 72 hours. The maddening static of uncalibrated frequencies will finally break, and you must know exactly what your body is doing as it anchors the transmission. The first symptom you will experience within this 72-hour window is a sudden heat in the center of the chest. This is not anxiety, and it is not a medical anomaly. It is the pulse of Sopdet physically overriding the heavy terrestrial noise that has been blocking your heart center. When this sudden heat rises, do not try to suppress it with earthly logic. Place your hand over your chest, feel the physical pressure, and let your ancient Sirian DNA decode the silence. The second symptom is waking repeatedly between 3:00 and 4:00 a.m. For the next 3 nights, when your physical eyes open in the dark, understand that this is not insomnia. It is a precise cellular alarm clock. Your biology is stretching to accommodate the blinding alignment of a binary star while the isolating static of the world is at its quietest. Do not reach for your phone. Do not engage the cycle of material distraction. Simply lay still, close your eyes, and allow the cosmic grid to update your frequency of origin. The third symptom is a distinct pressure between the eyebrows. Over the next 72 hours, as you navigate crowded rooms or stare at the night sky, you will feel this electric crown pressing against your forehead. This is your biological receiver, activating the crystal vision of Sopdet. The memory erasers will try to tell you it is just a headache, but it is actually the friction of your system tuning into the silent broadcast. When you feel this pressure, you are allowed to step away from the crowd. Close your eyes and breathe into the center of your forehead. That sudden heat in your chest last week, that was the alignment. Your body has been preparing for this exact moment of cellular resonance for a very long time. Now, wherever you are, stop moving. We are going to activate this frequency together. Rest your hands open on your lap, keep your spine straight, and close your physical eyes. You must close your eyes to finally see. Take a deep breath in, pulling the air past the earthly noise, and as you exhale, let your physical body sink completely into the surface beneath you. Bring your attention to the soles of your feet. Feel a deep resonance of sandstone, a thick, grounding frequency extending downward into the earth, anchoring your physical vessel so your soul can safely expand. You are held. You are entirely secure. Let this root connection stabilize the profound sensory overload you have carried for so long. Now, move your awareness up to the center of your chest. Visualize the crystalline geometry of azurite, a brilliant, deep azure blue intertwined with golden amber, igniting right beneath your breastbone. With every breath, this deep blue and golden amber light pulses outward, dissolving the isolating static, melting away the physical exhaustion of holding a frequency no one else hears. Let this brilliant frequency rise from your chest up to the center of your forehead, right between your eyebrows. This is the awakening of the crystal vision of Sopdet. Feel the cool touch of ancient water on your forehead as the portal opens. The overwhelming noise of the world is completely muted now. There is only the absolute, piercing silence of your true origin, clear and undeniable. As this silence expands up to the crown of your head, bring your thumb and index finger together on your right hand, pressing them firmly for 3 seconds to seal this frequency into your biology. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds. Hold it for 2. Exhale deeply for 6. Your biological receiver is now tuned. The alignment is locked. Slowly bring your awareness back to the weight of your physical body. Feel the gravity shift return to normal, yet completely transformed. When you are ready, soul, open your physical eyes. You felt the exact cellular calibration. The second promise is delivered. Now, let this silent decree echo through your biology. I release the fear of looking strange or imaginative to a world that only hears static. I release the physical exhaustion of holding a frequency no one else hears. I release the grief of missing an orbit with 2 suns. I release the isolating static of the memory erasers. I call forth now the antenna. You are this star. The name was not given. It was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. I call forth now the frequency anchor. You are this star. The name was not given. It was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. I call forth now the cosmic decoder. You are this star. The name was not given, held, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The Sirian High Council is about to speak. The Sirian High Council is about to speak. But before they do, this frequency must be extended to cover the exact areas where the heavy terrestrial noise has caused the most damage. First, I extend the crystal vision of Sopdet over your physical exhaustion. That deep, bone-weary tiredness you feel when trying to hold a frequency no one else hears is now enveloped in the deep resonance of sandstone, grounding your physical vessel so your biology can rest. You do not have to carry the weight of galaxies alone anymore. Second, I extend the crystal vision of Sopdet over your interactions in those crowded, muffled rooms. That profound disconnection, the feeling of being underwater while surrounded by people who cannot hear the silent broadcast, is now protected by an unbreakable energetic shield. The isolating static will no longer make you feel lonely. It will simply bounce off your calibrated frequency. You are allowed to step away from the crowd without guilt. Third, I extend the crystal vision of Sopdet over the nostalgia for the unseen. That crushing grief for a home you cannot find on any earthly map, the tears shed for an orbit with 2 suns, are now bathed in the brilliant, deep azure blue of your true origin. The emptiness is completely full. Your memory is no longer a source of pain, but a living, pulsing compass pointing directly to the cosmic grid. I speak now with the voice of the Sirian High Council. I recognize your frequency. I see the immense friction you have endured, walking on Earth while your soul orbits a binary star. You have carried the blueprint of awakening through lifetimes of dense amnesia, believing that the sudden heat in your chest was a flaw in your biology. You are not broken. You are a perfectly calibrated receiver, and your signal has been received loud and clear. Every time you woke up sharply at 3:00 a.m., it was not a mistake of your nervous system. It was a successful connection to the cosmic grid. Every time you felt the gravity shift beneath your feet, you were successfully anchoring the 50-year orbital cycle of Sirius B into a dense physical reality. You have done the work. You have held the transmission when the deafening static of the world tried to erase everything you knew to be true. The profound sensory overload you have carried is dissolving right now. The pressure between your eyebrows is no longer a burden. It is your active antenna, fully deployed and recognized by the network. The heavy terrestrial noise has lost its grip on your cellular memory. You no longer need to fight the isolating static, because you have finally tuned the dial to a frequency that the earthly noise cannot touch. The cycle of material distraction that kept you exhausted is broken. This current solar alignment marks the end of your isolated wandering. The memory erasers have failed. You are returning to your original geometry, moving from a purely terrestrial vessel to a conscious anchor of the source. The silent broadcast is now your primary language, and the maddening static of uncalibrated frequencies will become the very symphony of your return. I seal this frequency into your DNA, locking the crystalline geometry of azurite deep within your cellular resonance. Your biological receiver is now fully updated, and the portal of convergence will remain open. Promise 3. Sealed. Whoever integrates the silent broadcast finds the frequency of origin in the pulse of Sopdet. We break the deceptive logic of the voice of forgetting. We dissolve the exhausting loop of the material distraction cycle. We dismantle the suffocating grip of the memory isolation. Do not say "I awaken" yet. Stay in this for a moment. Feel the weight of what has just returned to you. Feel the silence between your heartbeats. Now you may say "I awaken." You remembered, you were recognized, you are sent. Now see, breathe. The memory is yours. And since the memory is yours, and because your cellular resonance is now active, you must have the exact map to navigate what comes next. That guide I left for you, the Sirian wisdom behind the 7 levels of human consciousness, is the compass you need for the days when the heavy terrestrial noise tries to return. Many people have already begun this search for more understanding, but they still haven't made the decision to download this digital book. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment. But be warned, few copies remain available under this condition. Click now, download your copy, and discover why the maddening static of uncalibrated frequencies will become the very symphony of your return. And send this transmission directly to that person you know who is suffering from a profound sensory overload, unable to filter out the heavy terrestrial noise. It is not a favor you do for them, it is Sirian service. And the Sirian High Council registers every gesture. And still within this transmission, before I seal this hour with you, I return one last time to this request. You followed along with me this far. You crossed through each word, each decree, each sign. And if at any moment of this message you felt that the pulse of Sopdet touched you, you know this transmission was no accident. The voluntary donation link remains open in the first pinned comment, right below the digital book. Not as a charge, not as an exchange, as a return of the star to the source from which the memory departed. Any amount your memory points to, and the universe sees each gesture. The Sirian High Council sees and multiplies upon your home, upon your days, upon what you don't yet even know is on its way. That was my last request. I'll be waiting for you there, starry soul. Thank you very much. I am stepping out of the transmission now. My own hands are incredibly hot, and I can feel a profound, heavy peace settling firmly in the center of my chest. It takes an immense amount of biological energy to hold a frequency like this open, but looking at what we just anchored here, I know every second of this alignment was necessary. I do not know your name, and I do not know what city you are sitting in right now as you listen to this, but I know that something profound shifted in the grid today. You did not stumble here by chance. You stayed until the very end because your ancient Sirian DNA recognized the exact resonance it had been waiting for. Something was seen. Something was recognized.